Well, let's make cod lyonnaise with a few extra items to give it a little different kind of taste. Lyonnaise meaning onions, so we have a nice piece of fillet of cod here. We're going to season it, flour it, saute it in butter and olive oil so the butter won't burn, but we'll still get the flavor of the butter. If you use butter just by itself, it will tend to burn, which is a nice flavor anyway, beurre noir, but I'm not looking for that this time. So it's fairly simple, and the flouring of the fish gives it a nice taste, like the taste of a brown roux, like in gumbo. Not in the mood to be touching the fish, or if I had a pair of gloves I would, and I'm not in the mood to put them on. So let's salt the fish. So that's a salt and pepper mix, very handy. Put the amount of pepper you want in there, depending on how much pepper you enjoy. Season both sides. And if you're a salt freak, put more. If you don't want any salt, don't put any at all. Now we'll put the flour. I'm also using thyme, capers, anchovy, and lemon juice. So when they say dusted in flour, which means one side, then the other side. Now if you want, you could always put some milk on the fish first, light cream or heavy cream. Okay, next thing we're going to do is get this skillet hot and saute that piece of fish. Then we'll make the lyonnaise, the onions, and after all of that's made, then we'll put the fish back in there to just heat up, and then we'll serve it over a bed of wild rice. You can put it over a bed of anything. You don't have to put it over a bed of anything. You can serve with it what you want, but that's how I'm going to present it today. Well, I have the flame on, and we'll get the butter in there, and right along with the butter, we'll get the olive oil. I like putting the olive oil in a sriracha hot chili sauce container. You know what? It never drips. So I'm putting equal amounts of olive oil and butter. Now, if you're not in the mood, well, you know what? I shouldn't say if you're not in the mood. This is how we're making it, and it's going to be tasty. But you don't want to use the butter and very little olive oil. Take a non-stick pan and use it. But I'm looking for something that's not so much dietetic today. A moderate flame. As soon as that melts, you see little bubbles forming. We're going to put the, now I'm going to touch the fish because it has flour on it. And I want to shake it. And it's not that simple with using that tool. Now, you put the where the skin would be, the skin side down first. Usually that's the more rounded part. Now that is just a little light for one person. That's about 14 ounces. No, I shouldn't say that. That's plenty for 2 people. It's 7 ounces of fish per person, which is really a normal amount. And being that this piece of cod is thick, we're going to finish it in the oven just for a few minutes. So what we're going to do is just brown it on one side, brown it on the other side, and we can do it rather quickly too, since it will be finished in the oven. And while it's being finished, I changed my mind how I'm doing this. We're going to put the fish in a small pan to finish in the oven. Meanwhile, we'll be sauteing the onions. So everything will be ready at the same time. Now let's raise the flame and get a nice long spatula. And this will take a few minutes to brown, so let me get my long spatula and come right back. Well, as you see, the butter is browning a little, but not burning as much. But it still might because I'm using such a high flame. If you use a spatula like this, when you pick up items, all the grease flows off. You now tilt it away, the pan, and then when you drop it, you don't have any splatter. So we have a nice golden brown color there. We'll do this side, then I'll put it in the pan. I'm going to lower the flame just a little bit. Really don't want to burn the butter too much. And there's just enough left in there to do everything else. Now we'll take this out. I'm going to cut it here, because I think it's going to fall apart when I try to lift up both pieces. See how nice? That's what I like about these kind of spatulas, the fish. Okay, now quickly we'll get the onion. Put the onions right in there. And we're going to add a little salt and pepper, because everything that you cook has to be seasoned. Put the thyme, and in a couple of minutes I'll add the rest of the items. Just a little salt and pepper, and a higher flame. Let this brown. You can either brown the onions or cook them very slowly and have them translucent. And that's enough of the oil and butter to do the job. So we don't have to add any more because that was quite a bit anyway. Well, no sense in wasting film just looking at the onions browning, because I'm sure we know how to do that. You just stir it. And this will take a few minutes. Just keep moving it a little bit. It'll get there. Now, into the onion, I'm going to put the anchovy and the capers. And onto the fish, I'm putting the white wine with the amount of lemon juice. So it's the tablespoon of lemon juice is in this 1/4 cup first, and then I filled it up with white wine. And that's going into the oven as we speak. The anchovies will disintegrate and we'll have that flavor. Which will help that bland piece of cod. And I chose cod because of its price. Really cheap. And it's a piece of fish. You want to spend a lot more money on a piece of swordfish? It's still a piece of fish. Maybe one is healthier than the other, but it's still a piece of good old fish. This is coming around nicely. Just let that cook. We could speed it up a little by putting a lid on it. So the lid will keep the moisture in. The onions won't brown as much. It'll cook faster. But if you're not looking to do that, then just leave the lid off. So it's actually a relatively simple dish. I have to taste. As you go, you have to taste something, so we taste a little piece of onion to see if it's seasoned enough with salt and pepper and with the rest of the ingredients. Very nice. Then I'm going to top this off for color and for crunch. Some toasted almond slivers and dried cranberries. Can't just eat this plain. Gotta add something to it to make it look a little special. That's it for the onions. Nice color, they're done. And the fish will be done in a minute. And the rice is also done. So we'll just shut that off. Fish will be coming out in another minute. Now when the cod has separated like so, you know it's cooked and you don't want to overcook it. Not all fish react the same. So what we'll do is you'll cut this piece in half. See how flaky it is? And this piece, oh, we'll also cut in just about half. I'm going to take some wild rice. And that's plenty. There's the rice. The fish. I'll put this little piece off to the side so nobody's complaining that they didn't get enough. And then into the onions. Well, you can add some chopped parsley to this too. And we'll just put this over. And there's plenty there for 2 people. And there you have it. How's that? Now I'm going to sit down and enjoy it And the rice, I just cooked it plain because I need something plain and not highly seasoned with anything else in it. But you can do whatever you want. I hope you enjoy.